Hello, dear students. So we are going to see the seventh lecture based on your first unit, that is single degree of freedom system, pre-vibration, that is critically damped system and under damped system. Now in lecture number 6, we have seen the pre-damped vibration with viscous damping and the over damped system. Now the remaining two system, that is critically damped system and under damped system, we are going to see in this lecture. So in last lecture, we have seen the pre-damped vibration with viscous damping. We have seen the pre-damped vibration with viscous damping. So this is the equilibrium position diagram, displaced position diagram, and a free body diagram. There are three types of forces, that is inertia force, spring force, and damping force. Now after with that, we get a equation of motion, and that equation of motion, by using the D'Alembert's principle, we get the equation of motion. It is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equals to 0. So this is the fundamental differential equation of single degree of freedom having free vibration. Now the solution of this equation is in the form of x is e raised to st. Now then we have calculated the velocity and acceleration, and we have put the value of x dot and s double dot in equation number 1, and we get this characteristic equation, that is ms square plus cs plus k is equals to 0. So this is your characteristic equation. Now this is quadratic equation, so this has two roots. So these two roots are s1 and s2. So these are the two roots s1 and s2, and the general solution of differential equation 1, that is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equals to 0 is x e raised to s1t plus and x e raised to s2t, and the general solution is x is equals to a e raised to s1t plus b e raised to s2t. So this is the general solution, where a and b are the constant which are determined by the initial conditions. Now after that, we have seen the critical damping coefficient cc. So this is the cc. Then after that, we have seen the damping factor of damping ratio. It is nothing but the ratio of damping coefficient to the critical damping coefficient, that is c upon cc. Now next one is, we have found out the general solution after putting the value of zeta and c upon cc, that is using parameter cc and zeta. We have get the two root s1 and s2. So that two roots are s1 is equals to minus zeta plus square root of zeta square minus 1 into omega n, and s2 is equals to minus zeta minus square root of zeta square minus 1 into omega n. So depending upon this, there are the general solution we have found, and depending upon the value of damping factor zeta, there are three types of system or three cases of damped system. So in last lecture, we have seen the case 1, that is over damped system. In that, zeta is the value of zeta is greater than 1. So this is the over damped system. We have seen the value of over damped system, and we have found out the constant a and b in over damped system by applying initial condition. What are the initial condition? At t is equals to 0, the displacement x is equals to x0, and at t is equals to 0, velocity, that is x dot is equals to 0. Now from that, we have found out the constant a and b, and after putting the constant a and b, we get the final equation of displacement. So this is the final equation of displacement x at any time t for over damped system. And from that, we have seen the graph of this over damped system and the significance of over damped system. So this is all about the revised part or revision of your lecture number 6. Now today we are going to start with our second system, that is called as critically damped system. Now, in last lecture, we have seen the overdamped system. Now, this is critically damped system. Now, what is critically damped system? Where the value of zeta, that is damping factor or damping ratio, is equals to 1. Then that type of system is called as critically damped system. So, what is the definition of critically damped system? If the damping factor zeta or a damping ratio or a damping factor zeta is equals to 1, or we can say damping coefficient C is equals to critical damping coefficient CC, then system is said to be critically damped. And in such cases, the two roots are real and equal. These two roots are real and equal. Now, what is these two roots? Now, if we go with your equation 11, that is nothing but the value of S1, that is root S1 and root S2. So I am going to the equation 11. So value of S1 and S2 is there. So this is your equation 11 where the value of S1 and S2 is there. So if we put this value zeta is equals to 1, so this term cancels. The square root of 1 square minus 1 is 0. For S2 also, this square root of 1 square minus 1 is 0. So remaining is minus zeta into omega, and for S2 also that is minus zeta into omega. Because this minus square root of this term becomes 0, and plus square root of zeta square minus 1, this term is goes to 0. So remaining parameter are S1 and S2, both are equal, and that value is minus zeta into omega. So by putting the value of zeta is equals to 1, we get the two roots of the equation, and these two roots of the equations are, again, value of zeta is 1. So these two roots of equation is minus omega n, and this is also minus omega n. Again, these two roots are real and equal because S1 is equals to S2. So these two roots, that is S1 and S2, are real also and equal also. Now we can say mathematically the zeta is equals to 1. Now what is value of zeta? It is C upon Cc. So C upon Cc is equals to 1, means C is equals to Cc. So mathematically, when the damping factor or damping ratio is equals to 1, then damping coefficient C is equals to damping coefficient Cc. So these are the two roots which are equal, real and equal. Now in critically damped system, the solution is same, that is x is equals to a raised to s1t plus b a raised to s2t. But if these two roots are equal, then the solution is given as a raised to st, that is s1 is equals to s2, so a e raised to st plus bt. This t terms goes to this side, is equals to e raised to s2t, because s1 and s2 are equal. So if both roots are equal, then the solution of differential equation, that is a e raised to s1t plus bt, this term is important. Now in previous overdamped system, there is a e raised to s1t plus b e raised to s2t, because the roots are unequal. If roots are equal, then a e raised to s1t plus b t e raised to s2t. So we are going to find out. Now put the value of S1 and S2, both are same. So our equation becomes x is equals to a e raised to omega nt plus bt e raised to minus omega nt. So again, e raised to minus omega nt is constant. So we will take in outside, both are common. So we get the equation x is equals to a plus bt e raised to minus omega nt. So this is equation number 18. So this is the general solution for critically damped system, that is x is equals to a plus bt e raised to minus omega n t. Now we have to find out these two constant, that is a and b. So these two constant can be found out by using initial condition. Now initial condition are same in case of over damped system, in case of critically damped system, or in case of under damped system. This initial condition are same, that is at t is equals to 0, the displacement x is equals to capital X 0, and at t is equals to 0, the velocity, that is x dot, is equals to 0. So we are having displacement. Now we have to find out the value of x dot, that is velocity. Now for finding out velocity, that is x dot, we have to differentiate this equation number 18, that is x is equals to a plus bt into e raised to minus omega nt with respect to t. So after differentiating, what will happen? So after differentiating equation number 8, we get, now this term, that is a plus bt into e raised to minus omega nt. Now a plus bt is constant, e raised to minus omega nt. Now in that, t is term in this side also and this side also. So you have to use u into v rule. So has to use u into v rule. So what is u into v rule? So u into derivative of v plus v into derivative of u. So what will be there? So this term is your u, that is a plus bt, and e raised to omega t nt, it is your term, that is v. So this is u into v rule. So what is u into v rule? So I will constant first this e raised to minus omega nt constant. So that is, I will take v into derivative of u. So what is v? V is e raised to minus omega nt, that is this term. And what is the derivative of u with respect to t? A is constant, so 0, plus b dt by dt is 1. So simply b. So the term is b e raised to minus omega nt plus now what is value of, आता u is constant, that is a plus bt is constant, that is u आहे तशी टर्म घ्यायची into derivative of v. Now what is derivative of v? That is e raised to x derivative, e raised to x, so same e raised to minus omega nt, and to derivative of minus omega nt. Now what is derivative of minus omega nt? That is dt by dt is 1, so minus omega n. So plus becomes minus because this value of minus omega n. So this plus become minus. So this is the derivative of your equation, that is equation number 18. And what is this derivative? It is x dot, that is velocity, that is dx by dt is nothing but the x dot. So that is nothing but the b e raised to minus omega nt minus a plus bt omega n e raised to minus omega nt. Now put first initial condition equation number 1. So if we put at t is equals to 0, x is equals to x0. So what will happen? So if I put this condition, that is at t is equals to 0, x is equals to x0. So we get x0. Now this x is equals to x0. So x0. Now t value 0. So e raised to 0 is 1. So this become 1. So e raised to 0, 1. Again b into t, t value 0. So this term becomes 0. So remaining at what remains, x0 is equals to a. So we get directly value of first constant, that is a is equals to x0. So after putting the first boundary condition, that is at t is equals to 0, x is equals to x0, we get the value of a. Now what is that value of a? A becomes x0. Now again we have to put the value of at t is equals to 0, x dot is equals to 0. At t is equals to 0, x dot is equals to. Now put that value, that second initial condition, in equation number 19. So we get this x dot is 0. So this 0. Now e raised to t, that is minus omega n t. Now t value is 0, so e raised to 0 is 1. And that b is remaining, because b is constant and this e raised to 0 is 1. Now t is 0 means this term cancel. This becomes 1, that is e raised to minus omega n t. So this becomes 1. So remaining minus a omega n. So this is the remaining term. Now from that we get the value of b is a omega n. We get the value of b is a omega n. Now what is value of a? A is x0. So we get the value of b is equals to x0 omega n. Now put that value in your general equation, that is a plus bt e raised to minus omega n. Now this is our general equation, a plus bt. Now what is the value of a? A is x0. So a plus bt. Now this value is x0. What is value of bt? The value of b is x0 omega n. So this is value of a. This is value of b. Now our general equation for when both root are equal. So that is nothing but the a plus bt e raised to minus omega n. So we have put the value of a as x0 and b as x0 omega n. So again x0 is common. So x0 in bracket 1 plus omega nt e raised to minus omega n. So this is our the displacement in case of critically damped system. This is the displacement in case of critically damped system. So displacement x is given by x is equals to x0, that is maximum displacement at t is equals to 0, in bracket 1 plus omega nt e raised to minus omega nt. Now this displacement is the this displacement is depends on only value of t. As t changes, the displacement will be changes, because x0 is constant, omega n is constant. So these two are constant term. X0 is maximum amplitude, it is constant, and omega n is your, that is natural frequency, this is also constant. So if these two terms are constant, then your displacement is varies with respect to t. So how it will be varies? It is in exponential term. It is in exponential. It varies in exponential. So after this calculation, if we take any value and we can calculate the value of x for, that is a displacement at any time t. So for that equation, that is critically damped system, the curve will be like this. So this is the curve in case of critically damped system. So this is critically damped system. So this is the curve. The curve will start from this point. Now this is our mean position. This is displacement. That is y-axis, there will be the displacement, and x-axis there will be a time. So if we plot the curve, displacement versus time, so we get the curve like this. So this is the curve we are getting. So this is the displacement versus time curve in case of critically damped system. Now what is significance of this equation and significance of this curve? What is the significance? So we will Now first significance is, now from equation 20, that is this equation, the displacement for critically damped system. From this equation, we can see that at t increases, the displacement goes on decreasing. At t increases, displacement goes on decreasing. So at the value of t goes on increasing, your displacement goes on decreasing. This is the first. So at t tends to infinity, when t becomes infinity, the x tends to 0. X tends to 0 because e raised to infinity is 0. So as this t becomes infinity, then the value of x becomes 0. That is, displacement becomes 0. So this is the first significance from this equation. Now from figure, this figure shows the displacement versus time curve for critically damped system. Now from that figure we can find out. So figure shows the displacement versus time curve for critically damped system, and this curves is also lies below any of the curve of overdamped system. Now this critically damped system is lies below the curve of overdamped system. Now what is the curve of overdamped system? So if I draw the curve for overdamped system, so that curve will be like this. So this is the curve for overdamped system. So this critically damped system curve is lies always below the curve of overdamped system. Lies always below the curve of overdamped system. So this is the second significance. Now third significance, the motion represented by this equation number 20, that is x is equals to x0 1 plus omega n e raised to minus omega n. Now this motion is aperiodic because it is lies only one side of the mean position. Now this is mean position. This is mean position, and this curve is lies only upper side of the mean position. So this motion is aperiodic motion, and because of aperiodic, this is also a non-vibratory motion. This is also a non-vibratory motion. So this is the third significance. So what is third significance? That is, in motion represented by the equation or figure in critically damped system is also aperiodic. So therefore the critically damped system is also a non-vibratory system. The critically damped system is also non-vibratory system. Now one advantages of this system is, in this type of this critically damped system, once system is disturbed, it will back rapidly close to equilibrium position. It will move back rapidly to the equilibrium position, not exactly to equilibrium position. Now what is the significance of this term? So I will tell you. So if you take the curve is rapidly, that is at this time the curve is rapidly comes to close to the equilibrium position, but for equal to equilibrium position or mean position, it takes infinite time. It takes infinite time. So it rapidly, it is close to the mean position. Rapidly it goes to the close to the mean position, but it will take infinite time to go to the exactly mean position. Now what will happen? So I will tell you. What is the application of this Now, for example, this is the general application, that is hydraulic door closer. So this hydraulic door closer, it is an application of critically damped system. Now, what happens in hydraulic door closer? The hydraulic door closer, in which it is necessary that the door to return its original position after being opened. After being opened, it should be returned to its original position within a shortest time. Within a shortest time. So this is an application of the critically damped system. So this is your second system, that is critically damped system. Now we have seen two systems. First system is overdamped system, when the value of damping factor, that is zeta, is greater than 1. And we have seen second system, that is critically damped system, where the value of zeta is less than 1. Value of zeta is equals to 1. Now the third system based on value of zeta, that is called as under damped system, where the value of zeta is less than 1. Under damped system. Undamped nahi, it is under damped system. Undamped system is different and under damped system is different. Now what is under damped system? If the damping factor or damping ratio is less than 1, or the damping coefficient C is less than critical damping coefficient CC, then system is said to be under damped. That is when the value of zeta is less than 1, means C upon CC is less than 1, and C upon CC is less than 1 means C is less than CC. So that is critically damping coefficient is less than critical damping coefficient CC. So this is the under damped system. So this is the definition of under damped system. If the damping factor zeta is less than 1, or damping coefficient C is less than critical damping coefficient CC, then the system is said to be under damped system. Then system is said to be under damped system. So we have to find out equation for under damped system. So what is our general solution? If we are taking these two roots, S1 and S2. So if the value of zeta is less than 1, then these two roots, that is S1 and S2, are complex numbers, complex conjugate, and these are given by. Now why is complex conjugate? Because now our original root is square root of 1 minus zeta square. What is 1? Zeta square minus 1. Now if value of zeta is less than 1, now for example, if value of zeta is 0.8, so what is value of zeta square? It is 0.64. So it is 0.64 minus 1. So that value becomes minus 0.36. So because of this minus term, we have taken a complex conjugate number I. Now we know that the value of square root of I square, it is minus 1. So we have considered that minus value, and because of that minus value, we have to use the complex number. So we have used a complex number, that is I. So what are the roots? The roots of this equation, it is S1 is equals to minus zeta plus I square root of 1 minus zeta square. Now in previous two system, this is zeta square minus 1, but because of minus sign, because the value of zeta is less than 1, therefore we have used the another complex number, that is I, and the value of I is always -1. The value of I is -1. So this is I. So minus zeta plus I square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n, and the value of S2 will be minus zeta minus I square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n, where the value of I is square root of -1, and it is an imaginary unit of complex root. It is an imaginary root of complex root. Now what is, now we know that the general solution is nothing but the x a raised to s1t plus b e raised to s2t. So we have to put the value of s1 and s2 in this equation. So x is equals to a e raised to s1. So this is the value of s1, that is minus zeta plus I square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n t, plus b into e raised to minus zeta minus I square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n t. So this is the solution for differential equation, that is a e raised to s1t plus b e raised to s2t. Now in that condition there is constant. Now what is constant? In both equation there is constant term. So that constant term is, what is the constant term? E raised to minus zeta into omega n t. What is the constant term? E raised to minus zeta into omega n t. So this is your constant term. Now what remaining? That is a e raised to plus I square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n t plus b e raised to minus I square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n t. Now we are putting this term, that is square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n as omega d. Putting square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n as omega d, whole term. So from this to this we are putting this value as omega d. So राहिलं काय? So x e raised to minus zeta 1 zeta omega n t. Now this term is omega d. So plus I omega dt plus b e raised to minus I omega dt. Now we know that the value of e raised to x is, e raised to ix plus e raised to minus ix, e raised to ix plus e raised to minus ix. Now what is this value, e raised to ix plus e raised to minus ix? It is sine. It is sine of omega dt plus phi. Sine of omega dt plus phi, and the solution is of this equation according to the Euler's theorem. So what is Euler's theorem? That is e raised to the value of e raised to I x plus b e raised to minus ix. So complex conjugate number is there. So according to the Euler theorem, so your solution is x is equals to capital X, that is maximum amplitude, or we can say x0. We can put as this as x0 or x. So x is equals to x e raised to minus zeta omega nt sine of omega dt plus phi. So this is the solution of differential equation in the underdamped system. Now in that system there is term sine. So there will be a sinusoidal curve. So what is sinusoidal curve? So this will be a sinusoidal curve. So this term is sine. Now what is significance of this underdamped system? So we are going to solve this significance. Now from the displacement equation of under damped system, we have seen that these two are the constant, that is x is constant and this phi is constant, and this x and phi constant which are determined by from initial condition. These two constant, these are determined from initial condition. What is that condition? At x is equals to at t is equals to 0, x is equals to capital X0, and at t is equals to 0, x dot is equals to 0. So these are the initial condition. So we can find out the value of x and phi from these initial conditions. Also, this equation, that is displacement equation in under damped system, it describes the simple harmonic motion. It describes the simple harmonic motion. Now, what is simple harmonic motion? The value of x is equals to the displacement x is nothing but the x sine of omega n t to a sine of omega t. Now, in that, this x is whole term, that is this x into e raised to minus zeta t. It is the whole term, and your omega n is your omega t, and phi is your difference, because in simple harmonic motion it is start with this point, that is 0 point, that is 0 angle. It is starts with 0, it is again comes to this mean position at 90 degree, and this is 2 pi. So the equation 23, that is the displacement equation of under damped system, describe the simple harmonic motion with angular frequency omega t. With angular frequency omega t, because it is free damped vibration. Now, if there is undamped vibration, then angular frequency is omega n. That is in case of undamped vibration, and this is damped vibration. So your frequency is damped frequency, that is omega d. So the equation 23, that is the displacement equation for under damped system, describe a simple harmonic motion of angular displacement, angular frequency as omega d and amplitude as x e raised to minus zeta omega n t. So this is your amplitude, which decreases exponentially with increase in time. If we increase the time from 0 to infinity, it will decreases exponentially. Now, thus the resultant motion is oscillatory. The resultant motion is oscillatory, having frequency omega t and decreasing amplitude x e raised to minus zeta omega t, which is ultimately dies out after some considerable time. So if I have to plot the displacement versus time curve for under damped system, it will like this. So this is the time, this is the displacement x. So this is sine. Now there is phase difference of omega phi. So I will start from this point. So this is the, now after every cycle there is exponential decrement. So this is the exponential decrement. So after every cycle there will be decrement, and after some time this motion will be dies out. That is, now from this equation we can see that, or from this graph we can see that, now this is the phase difference. So actually this is the phase difference phi. So from this graph we can see that there is a sinusoidal wave, and this sinusoidal wave, it is in both side of the mean position. So it is in upper side also, or it is in lower side also. So this motion is periodic motion, because after every cycle there will be a same repetition, but only the amplitude goes on decreasing. There is repetition of motion. So this is periodic motion in case of underdamped vibration. So if this is periodic motion, then this is a vibratory system. Now, previous two system, that is overdamped system and your underdamped system, these are not non-vibratory system, but this underdamped system is vibratory system. So in any type of vibration, we are getting this type of vibratory system. And from that, the natural frequency of damped vibration. Now this is also natural frequency, but it is for damped vibration. Now this omega n is natural frequency for free vibration or free undamped vibration. What is omega n? Is the angular or circular natural frequency for undamped vibration, and omega d is the circular natural frequency for damped vibration. Now there is relation between omega d and omega d. Now what is that relation? Omega d is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. So this is important formula. If we know the value of omega n and zeta, we can find out the value of omega d. And from that, we can find out the time period of this damped vibration. So that time period is 2 pi upon omega d. So in previous chapter, we can say in free undamped vibration, there is omega n term, and from that we can find out Tp as 2 pi upon omega n. But in case of free damped vibration, there is a term that is omega d, that is circular natural frequency of damped vibration. Now from that omega d, we can find out the Fd also. Now what is that Fd? Fd is nothing but the omega d upon 2 pi. So that is nothing but the frequency, that is damped frequency in hertz. So this is the omega d and time period. Now next, we have seen, so this is the displacement versus time curve for underdamped system. So the system is start from this point. O is your this point, and this is the phase angle. So this is phase angle. Now you can see from this diagram, this is sinusoidal wave. After every cycle, there is decrement of amplitude after every cycle, and this decrement is exponential decrement. So if you see, so this decrement is your exponential in upper side also and in below side also. So this is exponential decrement. So after every cycle, amplitude goes on changing. So this is the x1 amplitude at first cycle. This is x2 amplitude for second cycle. It is x3 for third, and it is x4 for fourth cycle. So after every cycle, the amplitude goes on decreasing as time goes on increasing. So this is the curve, that is displacement versus time curve for underdamped system. Now we have seen almost 3 type of system in this pre-damped vibration, that is depending upon damping factor zeta. There are 3 systems, that is overdamped system, critically damped system, and underdamped system. And in free undamped vibration, where there is no damper, means there is no zeta, there is no damping factor, there is no damping coefficient, there is no critical damping coefficient. So there are 4 systems when the value of zeta is equals to 0. So damper is, there is no damper used in a system, that is the value of zeta is 0. So in that system, the system is free undamped vibration. What is free undamped vibration? Undamped. So there is no use of damper when value of zeta is 0. Now when value of zeta is greater than 1, there is overdamped system. When the value of zeta is equals to 1, then that is critically damped system. And when the value of zeta is less than 1, that will be the underdamped system. So we have plot the displacement versus time curve. So this is displacement x and this is time t, and this is your mean position. So this is your mean position. So compare all the responses of all damping condition. Now if there is no damping, means amplitude does not changes in any cycle. So this is the curve represented by the black line. So if you take this curve represented by black line, so this is the curve which is represented by black line. So after every cycle there is no decrement of amplitude. There is no decrement. This curve is constant. There is no decrement in amplitude in every cycle. So if we consider the amplitude in this cycle, it is same. In this cycle also the amplitude is same. Similarly, in this cycle also amplitude is same. In this side amplitude is same. So this is about undamped system. Now second one is overdamped system. So if the overdamped system is denoted by this red line. So if you see this red line, so we get this overdamped system. So it is only one side of the mean position, that is overdamped system. And if you take the critically damped system, that is when the value of zeta is equals to 1, so it is below the overdamped system. So this is the curve for critically damped system, which is denoted by this black line, and the curve which is denoted by blue line, it is for underdamped system. So we can say in after every cycle there will be the decrement of amplitude. Now in this is the amplitude. Now for this curve the amplitude gets decreases. So when this is the curve for underdamped system, that is when the value of zeta is less than 1. So this is all about the free damped vibration, that is equation, that is first equation of motion, that is mx double dot plus cx dot plus ax is equals to 0. Then after that we have find out the characteristic equation, that is ms square plus cx plus k is equals to 0. Now from that characteristic equation we have find out the two roots, because this is ms square plus cs plus k, it is a quadratic equation, so it has two roots. Now depending upon the value of damping factor and the value of critical damping coefficient, they have classified into three types of the system. So that is overdamped system, critically damped system, and underdamped system. So this is all about the free damped vibration with viscous damping.